And I want to bring back Richard Engel, because, Richard, when one looks at the history of the Middle East and so much more, what you said, when one piece is gone, other pieces will be affected. And I'm thinking of the long and very difficult relationship that the United States has had, Democrat and Republican administrations both, with the Ayatollah regime that has been in power in Iran since 1979. These three places that were bombed tonight, what do we know about them?
So these are highly secretive military sites. These are the core of their enrichment capacity. So these would be where highly enriched uranium would be held, or more highly enriched uranium, because the Iranian nuclear program is based on the enrichment of uranium. You take uranium and you spin it in centrifuges, and you make it more and more pure, more and more radioactive, until it reaches about 90% purity, and then it can be used to make a nuclear bomb. Deep underground is where some of this spinning happens, where the centrifuges literally spin at close to the speed of sound, and where the more highly enriched uranium is kept. And this has always been at the issue. Could Iran keep a capacity to enrich uranium to a very low level, to 3% or 4%, something that is not considered useful to making any kind of nuclear weapon, and use it to power a civilian nuclear program, or use it for medical purposes? And this is what the Iranians insisted. They wanted to maintain this capacity. I was in Iran recently, and officials told me that that was a red line, to keep the ability to enrich uranium. But they said they would get rid of the more highly enriched uranium, the uranium kept at a 60% level or higher, that it could go under some other country's control. That was what they thought was at the heart of the negotiations. How was this process going to work? Would they be allowed to keep a baseline of enrichment, work out an arrangement where another country or another entity was holding the more highly enriched uranium for them should they ever need it, and they would avoid a war and avoid sanctions? That didn't happen. Now the U.S. is at war. When I was talking earlier, Jose, about you pull one piece out of the puzzle and you have to expect that the rest of the puzzle is going to shift. I was, of course, talking about Iraq. 2002, 2003, we were in a very similar situation where the United States launched a war of choice based on intelligence about weapons of mass destruction that was disputed. You had an intelligence agency, the CIA at the time, that was accused later on of wanting to accommodate and please the president. You had the U.S. at a peak of its power, felt unchallenged and in an ability to impact change all across the region. There was talk about redrawing the map of the Middle East. And the U.S. was initially very successful, toppled Saddam Hussein, left a hole in the region, ended up stuck in a civil war, and a conflict in the Middle East has really not stopped since then. So we will see if Israel's been able to, now with U.S. help, end the nuclear program, take this portfolio, take this potential weapon out of Iran's hands forever, and there will be a new, more friendly regime, or are we entering into another long period of readjustment and conflict in the Middle East?
Indeed, Richard, it is a question that is just now emerging.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app, or watch live on our YouTube channel.